Hello and welcome to the Upon Further Review podcast brought to you by Field Street Baptist Church. On this podcast, your host Cody Kitchen sits across the table from Dr. John Hall as he reviews his Sunday sermon from the week before.
Welcome to Upon Further Review podcast. I'm your host Cody Kitchen, and as a lot of you know, during the month of July, our pastor is out on sabbatical leave. And so we are going to be focusing on some of our ministries here at Field Street Baptist Church. Joined with me today is Allison Kitchen.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good.
Good, it's good to have you on the podcast. And so let's get this episode started. To kind of start off, as an icebreaker maybe, what ministry are you over and what does all of that entail?
I am the Minister of Preschool and Children. So this role covers Sunday mornings, which includes Bible fellowship for anyone in the 6th grade and younger. This also includes Wednesday evening activities, which includes children's choirs and Awana during the school year, and then other types of fun events during the summer like VBS and children's camp and any other thing we decide we want to do with the kids. And then it also includes any type of like nursery or childcare needs, except for our wonderful nursery coordinator, Ashley, usually does all the hard work with that. And then we now have a preteen ministry, so that involves discipleship groups and special events for them. And then, of course, our Early Learning Center, or ELC, which is our 2-day-a-week school program. So there's a lot of other small things that go into that, but that's most of our major stuff within our ministry.
Good deal. And Allison's been on staff here, will almost be a year, coming up soon in August.
In August.
Yeah, so that's exciting. But she was part-time interim for over a year-ish, right? Or 6 months-ish, whatever. Felt like a year. I'm just kidding. But about 6 months and then became full-time in August. So we're glad to have her on staff, and she's doing a great job. And as I've said before, we have a lot of different ministries, and we want to take this month of July to, in these 4 weeks, and talk about some of these ministries and the ones that our staff is over. And so today, we're going to kind of obviously be talking about and start with the children's ministry. And so with that, my first official question is, what is the vision for the children's ministry?
The vision for the children's ministry is ultimately that all children that walk through our doors would be introduced to and taught about Jesus, so that one day they would choose to accept him. And from that point on, our job is to disciple them, grow them, make relationships with them, just get to know them, get to know their families. Our hope is that when children step into anything our ministry is doing, that they'll feel the love of Jesus. And it's our duty as a church to make sure our children are cared for and raised up to know who Jesus is and how they can live their lives in a way that honors him.
That's good. I try any chance I get to remind our listeners and remind people in general what our mission statement is here at our church at Field Street, which is we exist to make Christ known by proclamation and the living of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we make Christ known by what we say and how we live. I mean, if there's an easier way. And what I love about our ministries is every ministry aspect of our church is an outpouring of that vision. And so, as you just said, that's exactly what it is that that the children also may be conformed in the likeness of Christ and continue to do that outside these 4 walls and grow them. So it's great. Second question is, what is the greatest need in your ministry currently?
I will say that we are very fortunate to have wonderful, committed volunteers in the children's ministry. So our biggest need right now would be for people to help in the nursery. This includes Sunday mornings during worship services, Wednesday nights during our evening activities, and really any other occasions we may need childcare, like our PBJ groups or women's Bible study, just to name like a couple examples. So if you're listening and feel a tug to hold babies, you can just let me know. But that would be probably our biggest area. And then another need we have is subs. So we always need a good, solid sub list for Bible fellowship teachers, choir, and Awana helpers. Because you know how it goes. Everyone ends up being out on the same day. And so it's good to have a lot of backup help during cases like that, so we're not scrambling to fill holes and make sure that all of our kids are taken care of.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want to hold some babies, you know where to do it. Obviously, we don't just let anybody hold a baby. So to make the people thinking that we're just some crazy church that will let anyone do it, you will have to go through a check, like anywhere else. That's right. Background check, make sure it's all good. But we do love our volunteers and thankful for each one of our volunteers, that some every Sunday, some different types of schedules, but they are the reason why ministries like that get to happen.
That's right.
So we are thankful for them, and I think it's also one of the greatest needs that I think in any ministry, and I'll say this probably every ministry need, is that every ministry should be being prayed for by our people and be reminded. And I think our children's ministry is one that should be prayed for quite often by all of us, as they are ones that are coming and hearing the Word of God, and may that it be something that continues to inform their life and their actions.
They're our future.
That's right. Well, my argument is,
they're the church now. But
I understand what
we
you're saying.
need them.
We do need them. But absolutely, they are part of the church now, and we need them now, and they will be coming up in the future. And so it is important what they know and what they believe. So if I think that's also part of it, that if you know of somebody who needs to be a part of that, your child or someone invite them. We have a great children's ministry, and I'm not biased at all, but I do think we have a great children's minister. So
thanks.
There's that.
Wow.
Oh, look at that. Well, my third question is, what are some things that you have seen God doing in the children's ministry as a whole recently?
One thing that I have seen a lot recently is children's desire to be baptized. And not just those that made decisions during VBS, but even before that, we had children coming forward wanting to be baptized, and others who didn't attend VBS are now speaking up and saying they want to. And so it just brings me a lot of joy to know that these children want others to know about their decision to follow Christ. And so that has been a really cool thing to see. I think that's going to continue as we've had a lot of kids make decisions, and that is not at all anything that we humans are doing, but that is just God's work, and that is Him working in their hearts and just speaking to them. And so and then I think, too, when children who are thinking about it but have hesitation see their friends do it, it gives them the courage to step up and be like, okay, yeah, I can do this. So that's been really cool to see.
That's good. It's always, no matter what kind of ministry you're in, it's always encouraging when you see God move. And God's moving all the time, but there are times when there's obvious movement in kids' hearts, and those are the times where we get to rejoice and be a part of it. And I know for you, it's always a joy to be a part of that. And so we're thankful that God is working, and pray that He continues to work in the hearts of His children. And it's also one of those things, too, we are thankful that we get to even be a part of what God's doing, because He doesn't need us, but He chooses to use us and to be a part and to be His vessels. And so it's always an exciting thing when we get to be a part of what God has called us to. So it's always great, and it should always be a joyous time for everybody when we see a young kid, a child, anybody that comes to know Christ and obviously wants to follow the obedience of baptism. So that is exciting. Very exciting. Well, as we close, kind of our quick podcast, but quick is not always a bad thing. My last question, as we kind of wrap all of this up, is what are you excited about for the future of our children's ministry here at Field Street?
Well, just like everything else, children's ministry is changing and evolving, just like every other thing happening in this world. But inside the church specifically, I think we are seeing a lot of changes. And at this time, I'm not sure what that looks like, but I'm here and I am excited to find out what it's going to be. And I'm also looking forward to watching the children that I've come to know over the last couple of years since we've been here, just continue to grow, and being able to see them as they continue their walk with Jesus. I think that's one of the most fun things about doing what I do is getting to build relationships with the kids and then just see them change and get excited about things we're doing and get involved, and then be able to make relationships with their parents and their siblings and things like that. So I think that's what I'm most excited about, is just being able to grow closer with each other and with God along the way.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I appreciate your time, Allison. Thank you for coming and joining us for this podcast.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
We absolutely miss John, but we're also thankful that we get to come and do this with a bunch of different ones on our staff and ministry. So
Yep.
Thank you for your time. And as I've brought John back up, I think it's an encouragement for all of us to be continuing to pray for him and his family as they are out, and for this month, as the well-deserved sabbatical leave, and be praying for him in the rest, and that he comes back and ready to continue and continue to lead us well, as he already has been. So we ask that you be praying for him. Well, as always, we end this session by saying, make Christ known by what you say and how you live. So guys, we say have a great week, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Thank you all for listening, and be sure to subscribe to Upon Further Review so you never miss an episode. If you have any questions, please be sure to reach out to us at info@fieldstreet.com. Thanks for tuning in.